Rebellions are built on hope.
And welcome to another episode of Radio Rebellion, a Star Wars podcast. I am your host, Alberto Calderon, and thank you for joining us today on this Star Wars Saturday. Just me for the moment. Our co-host Oti is out today. That's what happens when you live up north in a frozen tundra and you have a snowstorm coming. So Oti had to do some preparations before the storm hit, so he might not be here today. He might show up later. We're not sure, but we hope everything's fine over there. Wherever everyone else is, it's the holidays, it's winter season, so yeah, there is storms and there's ice and very cold weather everywhere, even down here in Florida. If you guys are listening, I hear I sound a little bit congested, and yes, that is true. I am a bit congested, being a little bit sick down here in the household, but we are rocking on to talk Star Wars. It's been a couple of weeks since we've been here with you guys to talk Star Wars. There's a bunch of news that have happened and we haven't talked about it. We'll glaze through them real quick. And this is our final episode of the year, final episode of 2025. I want to thank everyone from the top, everyone that has joined us this year. It's been amazing as always, getting to talk to you guys, covering Star Wars, getting a chance to talk with Alan Christopher a couple of weeks ago, great Star Wars author out there. And everyone in the chat that pops up, sends us questions, sends us chats, and follows us on social media. Thank you so much for being with us for another year. We'll be back next year in probably February or late January, early February with season 12 already. But for right now, this is a final episode of 2025. So if you're watching us live, thank you for being here. Make sure you like this video, give it a thumbs up, leave your comment down below if you're listening to this or watching this, I should say later in the replay what you thought about this year in Star Wars, Force Awakens 10-year anniversary, and everything else that has happened in 2025. And if you're listening to the audio podcast, thank you so much. Make sure to give us a 5-star rating and review, and subscribe to our channel here on YouTube or on your podcast listening device or podcatcher. Subscribe to us so you don't miss any new episodes when they drop. All right, who's out there in the chat? Again, we started a little bit late today. It's 7 p.m. down here, Eastern time, but it's fine. And our friend, doesn't matter if we're on at 5, 7 p.m., 2 in the afternoon, he's always around. It's Dale. Thank you, Dale, for joining us. Page turners that were not. Hello there, friend. And he can't be forgotten. He can't be missed. One of the original listeners from way back when, Dale Skywalker. That's so weird. I get a pop-up notification for your video and nobody else, but when I go to notifications, I can't find it. It doesn't matter. You got the notification. You're here just in time, working from your nap. That's going to be me probably later, taking a nap, Dale. Thank you for joining us, Brennan and Dale, as always. All right. So yeah, if you guys are ready, I'm not ready. Let's go ahead and talk Star Wars and Star Wars news. It's been a while since we talked Star Wars news. There's a couple of things that have happened. Some have been rumors, some have been actors or directors talking a lot of Starfighter talk out there, things how the Mandalorian, how it changed from Mandalorian Grogu from season 4 of the Mandalorian to now the movie. Didn't cover those. It didn't seem like we needed to do a whole show just on those couple of episodes, plus we needed a little break. But we're back today. We're gonna cover a couple of those news items before we jump into our big main themes today, our main topic. So let's start with some Star Wars news out there. And the first one, the big one, is 2 years from now, but in 2027, the original Star Wars Episode 4 is coming back to the theaters to celebrate the 50 years of Star Wars. So this came straight from StarWars.com. On February 19, 2027, we'll celebrate the 50th anniversary of Star Wars with a re-release of the 1977 original back for a limited time in theaters everywhere. Part of Lucasfilm's year-long 50th anniversary celebration, a newly restored version of the classic Star Wars 1977 theatrical release, later renamed Star Wars A New Hope, will play in theaters for a limited time. Great news for everyone out there. This is the version that I think every Star Wars fan, or I'm gonna say original fan, and no disrespect to anyone that came in afterwards, like myself, I came in afterwards, but the people that watched the original trilogy way back when it came out before the re-release and the new special editions, they've been asking for the original version for decades. And I thought that George Lucas had said that this wasn't going to happen ever, but something happened, and now we're getting them. At least a New Hope, or I should say Star Wars Episode 4 is coming out. The original version, it says it's newly restored. We'll see what that means. Hopefully some 4K version or something, but no changes. So this one I'm gonna watch. I know sometimes when they get re-released for 10 anniversaries or things like that, I haven't been able to make it to the movie theaters. The state of the movie theater right now is kind of a little precarious with all the backstage, backdoor dealings out there with WB, Netflix, Paramount, whatever's going to happen. Plus the prices for everyone, even no deal. If anything stays the same, the prices are still pretty high. But anyways, I'm gonna make it to this one. I want to see the original version in the theaters. I want to see how that looks like. So, are you guys going? I'm sure everyone else out there is going. So very happy for this. Um, so another news item that came a couple of weeks ago. There's a lot of Starfighter news. I know we talked about it last time we were here, either last time or the week before, how we're getting more Starfighter news than and that actually the Mandalorian and Grogu movie, which comes out in what 5 months? It comes out 5.5 months or something like that. We got one trailer. There were rumors that we were getting a second trailer this past week, but the Wonder Woman trailer came out, and supposedly Star Wars didn't want to release anything. I have to play catch up to Wonder Woman or have to battle for that attention. Supposedly it might come out next week on Monday or something. Excuse me. If it comes, we might maybe do a quick show just to cover it if we get a new trailer for The Mandalorian and Grogu. So yeah, Starfighter, we get a couple of news items real quick. The third act had to be reworked. Director Sean Levi, he was in a podcast and he came out and said there was something unexpected on Starfighter. It was you had a whole different idea for something in the third act, and then things didn't align, and I was forced to come up with a new idea. And I'm literally right now shooting that section of the movie, and every day I'm grateful that the way I was supposed to do it didn't work out, because the new idea that it forced me to explore is so much better than the original idea would have been. Again, not knowing anything about how the movie business, how it actually happens, I think this doesn't seem as surprising as some people are making out to see. Anyone that has done anything creative, they have an idea of what they want to do, and when it gets put into practice, it might veer in 10 different directions. Every writer knows this. You start writing a book with an idea beginning, middle, end, and as you're writing, the characters take you in different directions, new ideas pop into your head. So maybe that was that. He had an idea for something, then it didn't work out. He said that things didn't align, something unexpected happened, and things didn't align. He was forced to come up with a new idea. A lot of people, myself included, the first thing that we thought, well, there were rumors that they're taking this kid to Rey and to the new Jedi Academy. What if the thing is that now Rey's not gonna show up? That's a big deal. Is that was what changed? Maybe it's the other way. Rey wasn't going to be there, and now she is, so it changed in that sense. Maybe the Hunt for Ben Solo gets added somehow. That's not gonna happen, but we can wish. We can dream. I'll be drinking a lot of water today again for my congestion. So I'm not afraid. I'm not skeptical. I'm not scared. I'm not panicking. I'm happy that Sean Levy's out there openly talking about this movie. We just saw it today that Matt Smith, or yesterday I think it came out. I just saw it today. Matt Smith was doing a show out there in London and Europe, I think. Had a new short haircut, kind of a V shape. Looked fine. His hair was pushed forward or styled forward, very shortcut, true cut. I say he just finished shooting his Star Wars parts. He had to cut his hair for the part. I don't know if that means he cut his hair and then he gets a wig or something, a prosthetic on top of his hair, or that's his hair. It doesn't matter. The point is that he came in, I think about a month ago. It was said that he was going to start shooting, so people thought that he wasn't going to have that a bigger part in the movie, which maybe that's the case, but he just finished shooting a couple of days ago, so that gives him a couple, 2, 3 weeks at least of shooting. So I think it will be prominent. Again, I'm glad that we're getting all this information out. I think we're gonna start seeing trailers and official pictures a lot sooner than we think. Even the name for the movie, the title came out. We'll talk about that in a little bit when we talk about a recap of 2025. But yeah, third act of Starfighter had to be reworked. Something happened along the way that didn't align. Maybe they changed things in the first two-thirds of the movie, and then those didn't match with what the original ending was going to be. And again, that happens. And then that's what needed to change. So I am happy that we're getting this more information for Starfighter. Gimme more. And we got more Starfighter news. Actually, the composer has been announced, Thomas Newman. Just by name, I wasn't familiar with him, but I'm familiar with this game. Shawshank Redemption, Road to Perdition, Finding Nemo. These are great movies, great musical scores. Sean Lee also said that he wanted to grab someone that has those classical themes, that gives themes to different people, characters, or situations. So we're gonna get themes. It won't be a rehash of the John Williams score, but it might take some uh what's the word? I can't remember right now. It was not gonna be a remake, but it might kind of have some of those tones underneath. I think that's fine. I think that's what most new composers have done, apart from uh the Kiners. I think everyone has done their own thing, and then kind of weaving the John Williams score or some of those themes in and out. I love the solo score. I love the Rogue One score. I think they're underrated. I do miss the original themes in a lot of movies and TV shows that we watch, and the new ones. I think they just don't want to harm too much on it, because they, I don't know, they want to make their own thing. I think we need them. I think we need the original score or those themes there. Um, I always talk about this with Otis, the Jedi theme, that Force theme. It's so prominent in A New Hope, but now it's rarely used. It's just for those big, yes, finally the hero gets the lightsaber. We're finally, that character, yes, that person is a Jedi. That's when we hear the score, that the Jedi theme, I should say. It's very prominent in A New Hope. And when we talk about the Force Awakens, it's very prominent in the Force Awakens also. And that's that score hits with a punch, that theme. So if they can find a way to grab some of those classical Star Wars theme and still put it into their movies and TV show, I think it would work better in connecting everything through Star Wars. But in general, all the scores have been great. There's not one that I really don't enjoy. So I can't wait to see what Thomas Newman does with Starfighter. And then finally, yesterday, I think it was, or 2 days ago, I guess the Video Game Awards, or the game, whatever they call the Game Awards, I'm going to say, two new Star Wars games were announced. People are going nuts about them. First one is Star Wars Fate of the Old Republic. A lot of people thought we're getting Knights of the Old Republic 3. This might be it. Looks great, but I guess this is a startup company. This won't come out for another 2 or 3 years. So I guess it's part for the course for video games. We'll still have the Jedi, I say Jedi Council, not the Fallen Jedi. The third one should come out before then, I'm guessing. But it looked great. The cinematic trailer looked great. Excuse me, anything Old Republic is gonna get a lot of people excited. I'm okay. You guys know I'm not the biggest gamer right out there right now. I'll see if I can play this when it comes out. It looked interesting. I'll wait to see more what the story is going to be. Is it going to have anything to do with the James Mangold Dawn of the Jedi movie? No idea. For games, I don't care about canon. I know a lot of people do. They want everything to be canon and interconnected. That's fine. I don't really care. It does look like an interesting game. Another one that was announced and looks very interesting, or very fun, I should say, is Galactic Racer. And that's what it is. It's a racing game. It's going to happen in Jakku. There's pod racers, there are speeders, there's other types of ship. It looks fun. It looks awesome. Seb Boba is there. So again, I don't care. I love it. You could just have old Anakin racing against young Anakin and bring Han Solo and Rey into speeders. I don't care. Just give me a fun racing game. This one looks great. You guys know I've been pitching a Star Wars racing movie or racing TV show with starfighters. Like if Starfighters was a racing movie, I'll be so excited. I wish this was a TV show. You mean an animated racing TV show for Star Wars? I would have preferred it more than the video game, but it looks fun. I love playing different racing games. You can just hop on for 15, 20 minutes, do a couple of laps. So that's it. That's fun. Hopefully, I can play them. So, yeah, guys, let me know what you think about Fate of the Old Republic and the Galactic Racer game. And Dale, he says, not that he's not excited for the game, he just wants more stories in the Old Republic time. And I agree. Old Republic, we're in a point in Star Wars right now that I think is going to be very interesting. I think we talked about this here probably ad nauseum. Star Wars seems to be veering into two different directions. Let's go and explore what happens after Episode 9 with Starfighter, the Rey Skywalker movie, and then just forget the whatever his name is, that trilogy. We're supposed to begin again. A lot of medicine is in my body right now, so I'm gonna forget names. I want to say Tony Gilroy, but not. You know what I mean? It's doing a trilogy that's supposedly not connected, but around the same time period after Episode 9. And there were James Mangold and everything happening over there 20,000, 10,000, whatever thousands of years ago. So if we get stories on both ends of the Star Wars galaxy spectrum, 10,000 years ago, Old Republic, and then keep pushing forward to the future, give me that. We've covered that in between, at least those 50 years, more or less. Let's see what's happened on the other end. So yeah, I'm very excited for what we can get, like Dale mentioned, the Old Republic side, and then everything over there. Yeah, the Dave movie. Leia's trilogy. I don't know what Leia's trilogy is, but yeah, I'll take the Dave Filoni movie, Ahsoka season 2. It will connect to the Mandalorian. We'll see what happens with that. If we get the Mandalorian, then the Dave Filoni movie, and then we get a trilogy to end it. Again, Star Wars is trilogies. I wouldn't be surprised if that's the way that we go. All right, so before we move to our main topic, one of our main topics, I'm gonna say, with Christmas coming, I got an early Christmas birthdays. This Boba Fett Bandai figure, you gotta put together yourself. It's a little bit difficult, but there you go. And I always give props for people that know how to post their figures. This one is okay. If I knew how to post my figures, it would be a lot better, but it looks great there. I want to say after Christmas, everyone just show us your Star Wars haul. All right, so let's go to our first of the main topics, and it is The Force Awakens. 10 years is the return of Star Wars to the movie theaters, the return of the trilogies. We were back 10 years after Revenge of the Sith. We get The Force Awakens. And I can't believe it's been 10 years since this movie came out. So at the same time, I can't. There's so much has happened in the Star Wars universe after between the Force Awakens came out and today. There's been so many stories, so many news, rumors, celebrations, trailers, toys, TV series, animated series, books. Then on one end, really, has it been 10 years already? And on the other, man, we've lived so much since then in terms also our real lives. Like, I don't know how many, like 3 different presidential elections, pandemics, hurricanes, genocides, everything that's going on in the world. 10 years since The Force Awakens came out. And if you go to the fandom, everyone's gonna, why can't we just go back to that time before The Force Awakens and everyone was happy and excited? But let's talk about it real quick. That first experience, I'm sure everyone remembers their first time watching the Force Awakens trailer. It came out that Thanksgiving weekend, a year before the movie came out. I remember I'm in my office here, I was outside but it's basically the dining room in our house in a little corner that my wife had set up there with her computer. I was on her computer. I think I used to watch movie trailers, like Apple trailers or iTunes trailers, something with Apple related. I was there waiting and refreshing, and it finally came up. And I watched that trailer. I can't remember. That's probably the first trailer or teaser that I watched over and over and over, probably 10 times in that time frame. It was, I think, like a 45-second trailer. It starts with, oh, there's been an awakening. Have you felt it? I think we get Kylo Ren walking down the steps. No, that's at the end. That's how it ends, or close to it. Finn coming up, the stormtrooper dropping his armor. Then we get that speeder or BB-8 running through. Kylo Ren walking out of the that shot that we never got in the movie. Turns off his lightsaber, the crossguard. We go nuts for the crossguard, seeing it for the first time. Then the Millennium Falcon comes out with those two TIE fighters following, and everyone went nuts. And it's probably one of the best experiences we've had as Star Wars fans watching that trailer, that teaser for the first time. The crossguard took everyone by surprise. That was going to be the new Star Wars lightsaber. And how many memes, if you want to call it, back in 2014, there weren't memes, or everyone had their design, the corkscrew, the Swiss Army knife. How does it work? Lightsabers don't work that way. What's the point of a crosshair? It's gonna cut through it. It doesn't matter. There is one of the greatest reveals, and of course in the Millennium Falcon again. I know for most people out there that Chewie We're Home trailer is their favorite one. I think I like this one better. That teaser just blew us out of the water. I love everything about that trailer. I just watched the movie yesterday also. There's a reason this movie is in my top three Star Wars movie. It's so fun from beginning to end. I love almost everything about this movie. But that first teaser trailer, there we go. We know there's new heroes. It's a stormtrooper going through it. It's a weird guy in a mask with a cool lightsaber, and the Millennium Falcon is back with TIE fighters chasing it. As Star Wars fans, that's what we want. We couldn't ask for more. Yeah, I don't remember how long we had to wait for the actual trailer to drop. Well, that teaser gave us a lot to be hopeful for as we were gearing up for that first Star Wars movie. So my first watch experience, I remember I asked for the day off from work, obviously. Came out on a Friday. I bought my ticket not for the first showing. I think the first showing was around 9 in the morning. I couldn't make it at 9. I was gonna go later. I had to take my kids to school. My wife went to work. I think I took her, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. I remember driving through the movie theaters, past the movie theaters, sorry, to take my wife to work. I'll be honest, I can't remember if I was taking her to work or if I only worked half day and then left. I think I drove her to work. I went by at 9. Line out, sorry, I went by at 8. The first showing was around 9:30 or 10. Line out the theater around the corner. So I'm like, oh my God, this is gonna be nuts. Like again, outside, it's 8 in the morning, the line's already outside the theater. I think that there maybe it wasn't open, but anyway, line it's already 8:30 in the morning, lines outside. So I come back, I get ready, I go to my showing, 10:30, like it was pretty early. No line outside, which I was thankful for. I thought I was gonna be out for 2 hours out there. But it was some line inside and people coming out. Everyone seemed happy. And I remember sitting down and watching. I've talked about this every time we talk about The Force Awakens. I was scared about Star Wars going into it. Is it going to feel like Star Wars? Has it been too long? It's not George Lucas. Guardians of the Galaxy, the first one had come out. To me, that's what I wanted from a Star Wars movie, that epic adventure in that sci-fi fantasy realm. So I thought, can Star Wars even manage to get close to what that first Guardian was? And it started, I don't want to, I didn't, it took me a while. I'll say it. I've said it before. It's like, this is good, but I don't know if this is Star Wars. Yeah, there's an X-Wing there. There's stormtroopers, but I don't know. But I'll say it again when the garbage will do. I said, no, that one's garbage. I'm like, wait, and he's talking about the Falcon, and then they blew up the quad jumper. The garbage will do when they take that corner and the music, then. Don't copyright me, Disney. When they take that corner, and that's when I said, okay, that's when I said, Chewie, we're home. That felt like Star Wars and the escape to the junkyard, the Star Destroyer junkyard. That's when I was able to finally relax and say, okay, we're in good hands. I'm watching a Star Wars movie and enjoying myself. Take me for a ride. From that point on, I loved it. It was a great experience. I came out of it so happy. Back then, I wasn't in Star Wars fandom. I didn't do the show. Wasn't on Twitter. I think I wasn't. I can't even. No, I got into the fandom later after Rise of Skywalker. So it was mostly me and my family, my brothers talking about it. But just love that first experience of watching Star Wars again on the big screen. I mean, in the movie theaters, and then waiting to what was gonna come next with the following movie. So let's talk about the new heroes that we were introduced to. The first one, of course, is Rey, now known as Rey Skywalker. Back then, Rey from nowhere, Rey Kenobi, Rey Solo. We had all the theories were out there who Rey was, what her parentage were, who was her dad, her mom was. Did Obi-Wan and Satine really have a child? Maybe. Is this Luke's long lost child with Mara Jade? Everything was out there. Solo. Maybe they're the twins. These are the twins with her and Kylo. All the theories were out there. But Rey will focus on The Force Awakens. What a character, what an introduction. Still, if you ask Star Wars fans out, there's gonna be everyone's like top three, top five character introductions of all time. Just starting, no music, no sound, just her in that junk jar inside that Star Destroyer, just picking it apart for parts. Just in that 2 minute scene, as she's rappelling and free soloing that Star Destroyer, we get that sense of this character. She's living in a place in this junkyard planet by herself, having to make things make sense meet. You get the character just in that introduction, so you know everything she's gone through. We know she's been there for years, for decades. So that complaint that people say, "Oh, she doesn't suffer, she's just good at everything." No, we just they just spend these 2 minutes telling you, just look at what she's going through. You understand this character, and then when she has to fight off the Unkar plot uh, thugs. Okay, there's some fighting behind her. She's good with the sticks. She understands binary as she talks to the droids. So we know that this character, there's more to her than just kind of rummaging for stuff. But man, you gotta love this character and this journey that she took. I know people will say, "Oh, well, it's the same thing that Luke." Not really. Yeah, they're in a desert planet and they want more from her life. Not really. She just wants to be there and find her parents. Luke was always looking to the future, right? Always looking to horizon, not paying attention to the day in day out. So that's very different between Luke and Rey. Yeah, they're just both from a desert planet, but their journey to get to where they go in terms of being a Jedi was very different. She's there. She just wants to help. She wants to help the old lady that's there. She wants to help BB-8 because Tito is gonna take him and sell him for parts. She doesn't sell him to Unkar Plot. She helps Finn. She wants to go back uh, to Jakku and wait for her parents. So come on, raise the best, all right? She's one of the best. So I love that we see this journey, this trilogy through her eyes as the main character. But her introduction in The Force Awakens is her introduction to Star Wars and the journey that she took there from that first time that we see her to the end when she gets that lightsaber and again presents it to Luke further down. One of the best kind of journeys for a Star Wars character in that first introduction. Then we got Finn, something we've never seen before, a stormtrooper that decides to call it quits and go his own path. I know we've made a joke here also years ago that he was only screaming. He screams Rey, he screams no, and all this stuff. But it doesn't matter. Finn was another great character in Star Wars. His introduction here as the stormtrooper that doesn't shoot. We see that there's something behind him, that he doesn't want to participate in this massacre that they're doing in Jakku when Kylo Ren gets there. Again, he just wants to run, and it takes him that journey almost 3/4 of the movie. Yeah, he just wants to get away from the First Order. While when Rey gets taken, then a switch kind of, oh no, no, I gotta go to a resistance. I gotta help her, even if it's just to save Rey. He's not there to fight the First Order or to help the resistance. He does the right thing in coming back. But again, it's something new that we hadn't seen in Star Wars. It's how a stormtrooper decides to no, this is too much. Like they took me when I was young. They conscript me. Was molded. into being this killing machine, but I didn't do it. And as soon as I don't, I'm just thrown to the garbage, taken for reconditioning, and they're gonna basically kill him if doesn't change his ways. So we got a lot in this movie how that stormtrooper dynamic work with Captain Phasma. We'll talk about her in a minute. With all the other stormtroopers, are we gonna continue with stormtroopers and what Hux wanted to do and his program, bring back the cloning. So a lot of new information or new insights into the stormtroopers in this movie. But Finn, even from the trailers and the teaser that we see him in the movie taking off his stormtrooper, very kind of poetic, right? Shedding his old skin and getting into a new one when he gets into Jakku. Extremely funny when he goes and drinks from the Hapa board. John Boyega's comedic timing was great in this movie. His interaction with BB-8, especially in the first half when they meet, is awesome. His relationship with Poe as it grows from that first meeting all the way to the end. The Finn Poe fandom out there that loves it. But yeah, Finn was another great character. I know people will say that he was underused in the trilogy, and that's, like Maskanata would say, a story for a different day. Today we'll focus on the Force Awakens. I know the poster showed him with the lightsaber, the trailer showed him with the lightsaber, and that's what people thought. It was a misdirection, at least for this movie. I think his part was pretty good. I love when John Boyega brought into it. I think Finn is a great character in this first movie. Again, we can talk about the others on a different day, but gotta love, big deal. It's a big deal with the Resistance, and of course, Poe Dameron and BB-8 are the other ones. Everyone knows the story. Poe was gonna die pretty early on when the Tie Fighter crosses on Jakku, but Oscar Isaac says, "Hey, I've died in 3 movies already in the first act. Please don't kill me this early." And they made the whole part for him. He became a general in the Resistance all the way to the Rise of Skywalker. And hopefully he'll show up in Starfighter or somewhere. But Poe Dameron, another great character. You need that brash. Is he Han Solo? Not really. Maybe a little bit that brash pilot in Star Wars. He can fly everything. You talk first. I talk first. You talk first. Very difficult to hear you. Understand you with that apparatus. So yeah, again, Poe Dameron, even though of those 3, he doesn't get a lot of screen time in The Force Awakens. We lose him for about 40 minutes, probably. So not a great introduction. BB-8 as a main droid. It's difficult to step into R2-D2's shoes, but BB-8 quickly became a famous Star Wars droid. He was in everything after this movie till Baby Yoda came and kind of took over. BB-8 was the cute new Star Wars thing. I still love him. I think BB-8 was a great addition. So we talk about the new heroes. We'll talk about the villains. Don't worry. I know Kylo Ren is one of the main ones, but he's not a new hero. Return of the legacy characters. We got the return of Han Solo, Chewbacca, Leia, Luke Skywalker, and also I'll throw R2D2 and C-3PO in there. Han Solo and Chewie are the most prominent in this movie. Chewbacca, I love how they use him in the whole trilogy. We get a lot with Chewbacca this time around. This is the last movie that Peter Mayhew made as Chewie, and the first one for Jonas. They kind of went back and forth. Han Solo, again, Harrison Ford, there's nothing bad you can say about him. I think Han worked great in this movie, that with him still being a swindler and a smuggler, playing the 2 gangs against each other. How he treats Ray when, hey, are you offering me a job? I won't be nice to you. I won't pay much. So he's still there, where he's got still this sweet side that he knows that Ray brings something into it. Oh, Chewie likes you. He wants to bring her into the fold. I think was great. I think Harrison Ford played him awesomely. I think he had a lot of fun coming into this role again. He's talked about it multiple times how much he loved coming back to play Han Solo in this movie. So Leia didn't love to see Carrie Fisher again. Unfortunately, she's not with us anymore. Of the 3 movies, I guess, between this and Last Jedi, of course, she has more to do in Last Jedi. Everyone has said the first one was going to be Han Solo movie. The second one was Luke's, and then the third was going to be Leia's movie. Unfortunately, couldn't get to that point. But I think her part in The Last Jedi was better than in this one. So in here, she was fine. It was fine, but it was great to see Leia again. get that theme, that heartbreaking theme of her and Han Solo, and she being the one to push Han to fight for their son, to fight for Ben Solo, to bring him back. They're still lighting him. It was Luke. I mean, it was Snoke that turned him. It wasn't us. Luke's a Jedi. You're his father. That's a great line. So yeah, Leia very important in this movie. And finally, Luke Skywalker. We waited for him for I don't know how many years. He was in the poster. She was in that table read. We all were waiting for Luke to show up. And he's in the last minute and a half of the movie. Little bit of bait and switch, I guess. I thought he was gonna show up in a couple of scenes, but yeah, he's there. I wish he had more to do, but very impactful. Even watching it now, knowing what's going to happen in the next movie, that scene of Rey handing him the or showing him the lightsaber and him just looking at it, it gives you a sense of, oh my god, he can't believe that he's seeing that lightsaber again. Someone's bringing it to him, and of course he grabs it and throws it in the next movie. Well, anyway, let me get some water. Let's talk about the villains, and the main one, Kylo Ren, Ben Solo. I love Kylo. I know he was the emo guy. He got all the jokes, all the hate also from people out there. He just wants to be Darth Vader. Yeah, that's the point. He wants to follow his grandfather's footsteps, but he can't because he doesn't have that evilness inside. Even the deed split you to the bone, killing Han Solo. I mean, Adam Driver knocked it out of the park with Kylo Ren. I love all his tantrums. I love his design, the mask, the heavy cloak, the crossguard lightsaber. Still feeling that push to the light, having to talk to the burnt helmet of Darth Vader, looking up to Snoke and, hey, just finish my training, being kind of arrogant that he can turn Rey even when his training is not finished. Great job with this villain. I was scared that they were going to kill him at the end. I'm glad that they didn't. He survived all the way through to the end. Hopefully, we'll get to see him again at some point. Then we have Snoke. It's the big bad, supposedly. A big hologram in this movie, but he's scary. He's intimidating. You believe that he's able to control and manipulate all those people. So it's Snoke, even though I think he shows up in 3 scenes in this movie. Very intriguing, and we still want to know more about Snoke, even knowing that he's a failed clone, or is not, yeah, not a clone of Palpatine, but they cloned him a couple of times. He's just a disfigured vat, whatever, amalgam of something. He's an intriguing guy. We want to learn more about Snoke. Even the comic books, his little hat. Captain Phasma, then also General Hux. 2 cool villains. Phasma following in Boba Fett's cool armor that doesn't do anything really in this movie. Kind of a letdown, but the design is great, and we got some great stories with her afterward. General Hux, it kind of changed for the next 2 movies. I love his interactions with Kylo Ren, how he wants to be the militaristic type, and Kylo is more about the Force. I love the little battles for dominance, how they play each other, how they play Snoke against each other, blaming each other. So yeah, I love Hux in this movie. This over the top First Order officer. He was great. So yeah, let's talk about the music. I mentioned this a little bit in the beginning. Use of classical themes, they're there. The Leia theme is there. The Force theme shows up multiple times. Like I said, it's predominantly in this movie. Same as it was in A New Hope, and this is what I mean, that new composers have moved away from using it when they talk about the Force or talk about heroes. It's actually a hero theme. So I love that John Williams uses it constantly here. So yeah, some great classical themes make their way back, but it's not new themes that make this score great. The Rey theme is probably top 5, top 10 Star Wars themes of all time. The Jedi Steps theme, come on, watching it yesterday, ding dong ding. I can't, but it's great. The Kylo Ren theme has become iconic, and the Resistance theme where they come into Takodana to save the day with the X-wing over the water, and then Dun, din, din, dun, 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 dun. Come on, it's one of the best in this movie. So the whole theme, the classical themes and the new score work perfect together. I think this is my favorite score of the three movies. I have to go and rewatch the other two, but you gotta love them. All right, so we start wrapping up our kind of going back 10 years in The Force Awakens. Some of our favorite moments. If you guys are watching now or if you're watching this later, let me know in the comments what were some of your favorite moments from The Force Awakens. So I'll go in order, I think order that they show up in the movie. And not really, but Poe and Finn escape from the Star Destroyer is one of my favorites. Watching it now, that's when the movie really picks up. Is when they escape. Stay calm, stay calm. I am calm. I'm talking about myself. And Poe, yeah, I can fly anything. Oh, this thing really moves. And the introduction, every time they blow up a cannon, how excited they get. What's your name? FN21. I'm calling you. I'm calling you Finn. I'm Poe. That great back and forth. Loved it. Race introduction, we already talked about it being one of the best things in this movie. Kylo Ren stopping the blaster bolt at the beginning of the movie. Talk about character introduction. Iconic. Iconic, just stopping that blaster bolt midway, holding it there for 2 minutes. Perfect. Finn and BB-8, their relationship, especially when they're Finn is trying to get BB-8 to tell Rey where the Resistance base is. Iconic, the thumbs up from the lighter. Droid, please. That interaction worked great. Finn with Chewbacca was great when Chewie gets hurt. That's why I say again, Finn is a great character in this movie. And the lightsaber flying to Rey's hand and the theme picking up. Best part of the whole movie. Best part of the trilogy, probably one of the best scenes in all of Star Wars. A lightsaber flying through the air, landing in Rey's hand. Where do you guys thought that lightsaber was gonna end up? Who was gonna grab it? This is where I was 100% certain when that lightsaber started moving. I said, "Oh, that's Luke Skywalker on the other end." I was sure that the lightsaber was gonna flow to Luke Skywalker's hand, and then he was going to battle Kylo. But no, it's better that it went into Rey's hand, and then that takes her journey forward. So yeah, I love that part. All right, so that's my kind of recap of The Force Awakens. These 10 years. I posted on Blue Sky what people out there remembered about their first time watching this movie. And surprisingly, we got a lot of comments out there. So I just want to read them. We got almost 30 comments. It's been a while since we got in comments from you guys out there. So let me see. Do I have this here? Oh, I don't have it. Anyway, Rebel Thoughts. Let's talk about Rebel Thoughts. Sorry, I'm in the wrong place. Ah, yeah. All right. So, Rebel Thoughts, when we go to you guys and hear your thoughts on it, it's Rebel Thoughts. So I posted, like I said, what people remember about watching The Force Awakens for the first time. Some people saying, really, it's been 10 years. Others had to bring this movie up to take down the prequel trilogy. Again, it's your opinion. That's fine. I wish you guys didn't do it that way, but we'll take it. So before I go there, so Dale is saying, the introduction of Rey is the moment I realized that they had done it, that John Williams' score convinced me that they had made a good Star Wars movie. I 100% agree, Dale. That Rey introduction is pure perfection. And the score is what makes it. When, again, it starts with just no music, no sound, and then we get the score going. That theme is perfect. All right, so we got Waffle at Seth Tone. He said, I was truly excited to see it. The first 30 minutes or so was intriguing. New characters, new possibilities, new bad guys. He then said, then it went down the tubes, blowing up a desert again, blah, blah, blah. All right, against their opinion, I'm not going to take anything away from it. Stuart Dillon says, I really enjoyed it. It felt like seeing Star Wars again for the first time. I was nervous as I found the Phantom Menace such a disappointment, but for me, it didn't fail. I can understand the criticism they felt too much like the OG Star Wars. T.A. Montgomery, when I first saw it, I loved it. A bit safe, but the cast were pitch perfect, and it was exactly what Star Wars needed. Annabeth Syndulla Janeway actually yelled no when Kylo killed Han. I wasn't expecting Han Solo to die. Kathy in Canada is very nervous because Phantom Menace was such a colossal disappointment, but I loved it. It played it very safe, but it was actually what I wanted from the Phantom Menace and didn't get. And the scene where Finn and Poe and the TIE Fighter introducing themselves is still my favorite. Steve Wilson, it was silly and fun. All it needed to be, kind of reminded me up to the lead up to the Phantom Menace as a kid who loves Star Wars. Uh, I love hearing that. Mellow Eagles fan, I loved it. A refreshing return to basics. Clint David, The Force Awakens was the pretty goodest of the sequels. Doug Nutt said, I got to take my two boys, 6 and 8 years old, to the first new Star Wars film for all three of us. The chasing where Rey, Finn, and BB steal the Falcon and fly through the Star Destroyer remains to escape felt like when I was a young boy, so the first Star Wars, it was quite a feeling. Love that you got to experience that with your kids. Hugs of My Heart says, I saw General Hux and I was like, heart eyes, everything about the First Order. I love Not Snoke, Dirty Force User, Resurgent Class Star Destroyer, Perfection, just the whole look of the Order, snappy dressers. Jeremy Duffy says, simply put, it's the best Star Wars movie. It's not a popular opinion, but it is my legitimate feeling on the matter. Again, say it with your chest. It's in my top 3 Star Wars movies, so I agree. Cup of Liberty said, I was so excited, never expected to be getting new Star Wars movies after Revenge of the Sith. From the first scene with the new villain and stormtrooper who refused to fire, I was hooked. The new characters were delightful and funny. The lightsaber flying to Rey, now an all-time favorite moment. Great movie experience. Stinky Step, it was an absolute blast from start to finish. I love the hype of the trailers leading up to it. Let me just a couple more. Kai Gipsy 72, I cried, I gasped, I felt 13 again. And Starflake 02, on my way to junior high, I passed a printer of a movie poster, so I saw every version of the one sheet people see at theaters behind glass. Even without the internet or leaks of today, I was still very pumped for months. On my first viewing, I watched it back to back 4 times. Last count at theaters, I was at 32. Congratulations for watching it 32 times. Apricot the Flying Fox, I loved it. Vampire Crafts, I enjoyed it. Potential and Promise were also cast a small shadow of doubt, but I was ready for more and got like 4 or 5 more. So again, a lot of love and praise for The Force Awakens. All right, so thank you guys for sending those comments. Thank you for Dale and Brennan to let us know their thoughts on it also. All right, so let's go. And then next year, we're back in the theaters again with The Mandalorian and Grogu finally after, will be 9 years. We'll be back at 7 years. We'll be back for the new Star Wars movie. All right, so it is the end of the year, so let's talk about some of our favorite moments of 2025 in Star Wars. It was a great year. It was a busy year. It is a year that people might not really think too much about it. We've been looking to the future for 2026 for the movies, 2027. We didn't get a lot of new TV shows, maybe 1 or 2. Was it a slow year for Star Wars 2025? No, it wasn't. There was a lot of Star Wars going on this year. We're going to try to recap some of it. Let's talk about that TV series. We got, I think, the last 2 episodes of Skeleton Crew, which were, again, I'm using the word perfection too much, but those 2 last episodes of Skeleton Crew were great. Everything that I wanted from that show, the show that came out of nowhere, it was delayed for a whole year. Is it actually going to happen? Is it really going to be Goonies in space? Yes, yes, yes. It's pirates. It's Judd Nanawood. It's Jude Law being crazy with these characters. The kids. This was a great show. The finale was great, and that happened this year. Then we go, of course, to Andor season 2. Could it live up to the hype? Could it surpass season 1? Yes, on both counts. For a lot of people, this is the preeminent Star Wars anything, be it a TV show, movie, story. Andor season 2 came out and gave us the show that we needed for the times that we're living today. It gave us a new format for Star Wars and Lucasfilm, releasing 3 episodes at a time. Each 3 episode block covered 1 year. Then we would skip a year, and then we'll would go. Sorry, every skip was a year. The 3 episode block wasn't a whole year; it was a full arc. And it just this lead up to the Gorman massacre and the actual beginnings of the rebellion and the resistance forming on Yavin and getting all those players together. Can it work? This was the Avengers for Star Wars, getting Mon Mothma together with Bail Organa, Saw Gerrera's out there, Draven, getting everything ready for Rogue One. It worked in perfection. It broke our hearts. Sal, Vinta and Sal can get names together today, but you know who I mean. We're unfortunately we lost them, lost one of them. We got the return of Melshi with the blaster. So yeah, Andor season 2 blew us all out of the water. What Star Wars can be. Everyone says this is the benchmark for Star Wars moving forward. I understand. I always said here, even throughout season 1, in terms of quality, dedication, and production quality, production build up. Yeah, this is where Star Wars should be. This type of story, not really. This gritty, not really. But to this level of production, again, we just talk about Skeleton Crew. I think Skeleton Crew got to that level of production. Even Ahsoka, even some things were a little I think it got there. I think season 2 of Ahsoka is going to be even more with less use on the volume or a better use of it, I should say. It's going to get to those levels. But yeah, Andor season 2 was more than what a lot of us thought it was going to be. It delivered on every front. Those episodes, Welcome to the Gorman Massacre and Welcome to the Rebellion, getting Mon Mothma out of the Senate when she names the Emperor as the one committing this massacre, this genocide. That's the episode. Those 2 episodes back to back. You can do that again in Star Wars, I think. So yeah, Andor season 2 was great. We also got Tales from the Underworld. Were my favorites. We got the re-return of Asajj Ventress and then the Cat Bane story. They were okay for people that love those characters. Those episodes hit where they needed to hit. For me, they were fine, and that's all they needed to be. We got the follow-up to that Lego adventure. I haven't watched it yet. And but Visions Volume 3 came out. We talked about it a couple of weeks ago, a couple of months ago. As always, Visions is great. The only thing for this season, it seemed like a lot of them were trying to play into, hey, maybe we can continue this forward. If you give us a chance, we can continue more stories with those characters. And that's fine, but the stories that we got were pretty good. Can't wait for Visions Volume 4. We get the Ninth Jedi, that continuation, that whole story, or new series following the Ninth Jedi coming up in 2026. So yeah, Volume 3 of Visions was another visual spectacle. Every episode looked great. And Black, I still can't talk about Black. I don't know what the hell happened in that episode. Again, TV series, the finale of Skeleton Crew, the last 2 episodes, Andor Season 2, Tales of the Underworld, Visions Volume 3, and Lego Rebuild the Galaxy, that sequel came out this year. Star Wars Celebration, that was the only thing we got. That's all we needed. Star Wars Celebration Japan, man, I mean, Celebration is just, it's a beast in itself. I was rewatching some of it earlier of our talk on Celebration, just to get kind of remember everything that happened. Just what it takes to put on that show. 3 days or 4 days of 8 to 9 hours of constant interviews and panels and trailers and snippets and fan costumes and cosplay and people coming out to show how they use sticks to make all this drama. It's mind blowing the amount of dedication that goes to putting on a celebration. Doing that for three days for 9 years was great. They're only saying that Black was Pink Floyd in Star Wars, and I think you're right. You gotta put some bricks in the wall or something next time I watch it. But yeah, Star Wars Celebration, because the official Starfighter title was revealed, which we never get the title for a Star Wars movie before a trailer. Ryan Gosling was there, Sean Levi was there. We got a little bit of tidbits of what's going on. Saw the title card. Maul Shadow Lord was announced as the new animated series coming next year. Filoni talked about in Ahsoka how he was able to bring back Hayden, to bring back Anakin, and do Ahsoka story with that character back. The ILM season 2, having all those people there talking about it. Ahmed Best saying how he helped choreograph the idea behind that Yoda and Dooku fight, showing that anime fight, I think it was, to the people back there. So yes, that was celebration, man. That's just something. It was my first of. I'll say that for later. Movie announcements and sorry, movie news and announcements. Again, the Mandalorian and Grogu trailer was awesome. We got to see Seb for not for the first time because we saw him in season 4, but seeing Seb there kicking ass, the AT-ATs in the snow falling over, Mando and Grogu in that speeder, and then Starfighter. Matt Smith getting a chance to come back to Star Wars was a great moment. That's something I think I wasn't gonna do a show that weekend, and then that news came out. So, oh, we gotta talk about this. After he's saying there's interviews with him saying that he was getting ready to shoot for Rise of Skywalker, playing a young Palpatine, and then I think he shot and he got caught. He never made it to the movie. To now getting a chance to come back to Star Wars and be a villain in Starfighter. Oh man, I remember that news came out of nowhere and it was great. In terms of books, we got a lot of books for people out here like myself that love Star Wars publishing and reading. If you love the comics, come on, there's hundreds of comics that came out. But just focusing on the books for myself from early in January, Reign of the Empire, Mass of Fear, that first book came out. A little spoiler, if I'm going to do a post on our website in a couple of days. Favorite Star Wars books of 2025. I'm gonna say it now. Reign of the Empire was my favorite Star Wars book of 2025. Check that book out, but it was awesome. Sorry, I'm looking for something. Alexander Freed. That's what Alexander Freed, one of the best Star Wars writers out there, did a great thing with Reign of the Empire. The finale for the High Republic, Trials of the Jedi, came out this year. A lot of heartbreak, a lot of talk about a production. There's years and years of storytelling coming to a conclusion by Kevin Scott. Trials of the Jedi knocked it out of the park. Great finale. Bad Batch Sanctuary. That was my biggest surprise in terms of novels this year. You guys know my history with the Bad Batch. Finally fell in love with them, and the last season was one of my favorite animated shows of all time. That last season, and Bad Batch Sanctuary was a great book. Follow those characters in between season 2 and 3, if I'm not mistaken, on Pabu, trying to save Pabu. These stories are great. The villains are great. The characters, Omega, you gotta love her. So yeah, Sanctuary was a great book. Then we got The Last Order, which is a Finn and Jaina story. The 25-year anniversary of Revenge of the Sith with new annotation by Matt Stover. Master of Evil. I'll put a link up here later for our interview with Adam Christopher talking about Master of Evil. Great way to end the year for Star Wars books. So yeah, if you love Star Wars book and publishing, or you just, hey, there's no Star Wars TV shows, I can't wait till Mandalorian and Grogu, grab a book, grab a novel. There's some great stories out there. And then kind of rounding up, Kathleen Kennedy kind of not officially announced her plans for the succession, but we know that it's happening. It was supposed to happen like late this year, so maybe we'll still get some news or early next year. Is Filoni and Carrie Becker gonna step up? So that was a big news that happened this year. So yeah, what were your favorite moments of 2025 in Star Wars? I want to hear from you guys. See, what stood out this year? For me, I'm gonna say it was Couch Con. Watching Celebration Japan at home. It's not my first time we've done Couch Con here, but it's the first time that we've actually kind of stayed up. Like I remember I took 2 days off from work. 10 o'clock at night it started, or 9:30, went all the way till like 3:30, almost 4 in the morning that first night, then starting again back at 9 or 10, going till 2. But being able to connect with all the Star Wars fans out there from here in the States to Japan and everywhere in between, as everything is coming out, watching the news live, getting all that emotion, we felt like we were there even though we were separated by like 13 hours. So I think CouchCon and watching Celebration live, was my biggest moment of 2025. I love every single moment of it. So yeah, it's a great time. And I forgot to put this up. I'll put it there now. Favorite moments of 2025. All right, guys. So thank you for joining us, not just today, but this whole year in Star Wars. We had a lot of fun. Sorry that Oti couldn't make it today, but hopefully he's prepping for that big snowstorm that's gonna hit them tomorrow. We'll be back next year, late January, early February, most likely. If for some reason we get a new trailer from The Mandalorian next week, I might pop in real quick. I might have a different background because I have to move my stuff. I have my in-laws coming in, but we'll see. But if not, we'll be back next year. And as always, thank you guys for supporting us, for being with us for 5, now almost 6 years. Happy holidays. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year's, happy anything that you celebrate, even if you don't. We'll be back next year talking Star Wars. It'll be a big one. Mandalorian, Grogu in the movie theaters, Shadow Lord, The Ninth Jedi, more books, more stories, more news items, more radio, rebellion. Stay safe, be safe. May the Force be with you. See you next.